Hey, Seth, speaking of staying out somebody's weight, Joel Embiid last night, James Harden, game 6 on the road in Toronto. James Harden, 22 points, 15 assists. Joel Embiid, 33 points. They were dominant. They took the game seriously. Do you give the 76ers a legit chance to get by the Miami Heat?
I don't. I think the Heat are too connected defensively. I think the Heat will keep him out of the lane, be able to defend him one-on-one, not have to help. You got to remember now, hey, you're talking about the 76ers team. They were 61 for 91 off passes from James Harden. Well, you know what? They're not going to overhelp off James Harden because probably Jimmy Butlers are going to get matched up with him, defend him one-on-one, so they don't have to overhelp. Now, I thought Harden was terrific, and everyone's talking about the points and him being more aggressive. Just him attacking. His ability to attack makes the game easier for him. For obviously Tyrese Maxey, makes it easier, obviously, for Tobias Harris, makes the game easier for Joel Embiid. And then if you can make a jumper or two, that's great. But I look at the Heat. The Heat's a different animal. The Heat's just a different team defensively. They're more connected. They have the ability to defend the ball one-on-one. They have the ability to switch 1 through 5. Unless they can get Bam Adebayo in foul trouble, I think that the Heat win this series probably in 6.
Exactly. See, kid, this is my thing about this series. Like, Miami switches everything. You can't switch if you're Bam when Joel Embiid is involved in action. Like, you have to stay on him. And also, like, the psychological battle here, Jimmy Butler was that dude on Philly with Joel Embiid. Like, I wonder, Jimmy Butler knows stuff about how he operates in Joel Embiid. I'm curious to see that stuff play out, Key.
Well, you know what? That was, 3 years ago that he was in Philadelphia? This is a different regime now. And so I don't know if it's the same. I know you look at a player skill set and you might say, okay, I know what he's doing, but then coach would know the sets that you're running is totally different on the offense than when Jimmy Butler was there. So therefore, the player, I'm assuming, is doing something different because of that.
I think the biggest thing is ball screen
little
defense.
brother whammy too, man.
Yeah, but here's the thing, guys.
What about just
down to ball screen
Coach?
defense.
What about this? What about the psychological thing, though, that was just touched on? Like, Jimmy Butler was his guy, but he was also the veteran, right? He was also the guy who, this was not Karl Anthony Towns he was dealing with, although there were certain similarities. He didn't get along with Towns, right? But when Embiid seemed to want to be great and eventually turn the corner. Does that do anything when a player who was once like a friend and a mentor comes back and especially with the chips on the line? Does that mean anything to you, Coach?
I don't think it means anything. I mean, look, here's the deal. You try to get to the NBA Finals. I mean, it's that plain, it's that simple. And right now, the 76ers are in the way of Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler wants to get back and try to win a championship. Jimmy Butler is a focused dude. The one thing we know about it, he's improved offensively, he's been more aggressive offensively, but he makes his money by being a fierce competitor. That's not going to change. In the end, this series is going to come down to one thing. Keeping James Harden where you don't have to overhelp and defending those spread ball screens with Embiid and Harden. Flat out, that's what it's going to come down to because it's not like the Sixers is that good an offensive team where you're playing a team where you're going to have to get 120 every night. This game's going to be won on the defensive end. This series is going to be won on the defensive end. It's going to be won, I think, with the Heat just that being that much more connected defensively and more consistent defensively and more weapons. I mean, you look at the bench. I mean, when the Heat go to their bench, they have guys that can impact winning. I'm not sure that the Sixers have that versatility coming off the bench.
Coach, what was your reaction to the perfect game by Chris Paul last night?
Incredible. I mean, to me, I thought Chris Paul got better, obviously, in the second half when he stopped worrying about Jose Alvarado and just said, I'm going to take over this game and just be Chris Paul. Chris Paul has a PhD in ball screen offense. All right, but the amazing thing to me is Chris Paul was absolutely phenomenal. He's one of the best players in the history of the game, one of the best point guards to ever play. But why do you continually let him get back to his right hand? I just don't understand it. The guy's impossible to keep out of the lane going to his right hand. But look, to me, it was won in a couple of different ways. Chris Paul was dominant. There's no doubt about it. And in the second half, C.J. McCollum getting in foul trouble, I think, really hurt, obviously, New Orleans. But Chris Paul, what can you say about it you haven't said before? I'm going to tell you one thing. I was wrong because a couple of years ago I thought he lost a step. He couldn't get by anyone. He's getting by people. Not only is he getting by people, but when he gets by people, his ability to feel and read the defense. I don't remember. Jay, well, you got to help me. Is there another guard in the last 10 years that reads the defense as well as he does?
No, Seth, and I said this before too. He might be the best leader in sports that's never won a championship. I do want to ask you, what do you think will be the most entertaining NBA Finals matchup?
About
In terms
30
of-
seconds.
Finals,
Entertaining, Seth. Blockbuster. Front of the newspaper. Everybody wants to watch it.
everyone wants to watch it. To me, I would like to see the Heat and the Suns. That's me. But the most entertaining, you got to have Golden State because Golden State's just too much fun to watch.
Golden State and Boston, maybe not? Not
No.
Golden State
Yeah.
and Boston?
Except Boston's defense will slow that game down to a grind. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Is the East Coast teams, right? The Eastern Conference teams are all built on the defensive end. Obviously, the West Coast teams are built on the offensive end.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.